The episode opens in Rick's garage, where he's tinkering with a strange cube-shaped device emitting glowing cracks of light. Morty stumbles in, chewing on chips, worried about missing school. Rick explains that this invention is a chrono engine, capable of folding all possible futures into the present. Rick, I can control fate, Morty. Imagine skipping every mistake and jumping right to the part where we're awesome. Morty is hesitant, remembering how Rick's inventions always spiral into disasters. Against Morty's protests, Rick activates the machine, creating ripples across reality. Suddenly, infinite versions of the garage flicker in and out. One where Morty is president, another where Rick is a child, another where Earth is ruled by giant hamsters. The shockwave reaches the Smith household. Summer keeps experiencing the same breakfast over and over, like a glitching loop. Jerry is stuck in a paradox where he keeps arguing with himself. Beth senses something wrong and storms to the garage. Rick smugly declares that it's all under control, until a crack in the timeline widens, and a monstrous figure steps through. Mortys, the self-proclaimed guardian of time. Rick drags Morty into the Chrono Realm, a surreal dimension where all possibilities collide. Here they encounter bizarre versions of themselves. A timid Rick who never drank, a hyper-aggressive Morty who leads an army, a Morty-Rick hybrid that unnerves them both. Meanwhile on Earth, Summer is stuck in a teenage time loop, reliving her most embarrassing moments. Jerry splits into multiple Jerrys, all equally useless but fighting over who is the real one. Beth is forced into a fractured timeline where she sees herself in futures both with and without Rick, fueling her doubts about her father. Rick insists that the Chrono engine just needs a calibration crystal, but Mortys warns that if the timelines collapse fully, all versions of Rick and Morty will merge into one chaotic abomination. In classic Rick style, he tries to trick Morty into giving him the power crystal by faking a paradox, but Morty ruins the plan by blurting out the truth. Act 2 ends with Rick and Morty trapped in a shifting paradox maze, pursued by collapsing realities, with Morty beginning to lose faith in Rick's control. As the paradox maze crumbles, Rick and Morty stumble into a reality where the Council of Ricks has been wiped out, leaving only fractured remnants. This version of the Citadel is a broken, echoing place, filled with lost Ricks wandering aimlessly, each trapped in their own time-looped regrets. Morty is horrified by how many Ricks broke the universe in similar ways. He confronts Rick. "You're not the smartest man in the universe. You're just the one dumb enough to keep breaking it until it breaks you back." Rick, visibly shaken, admits for once that he might not be able to fix this. He contemplates sacrificing himself by merging with the Chrono engine to stabilize reality. At the Smith house, Beth, in fragmented timelines, recalls all the times Rick abandoned her as a child. She decides that if Rick dies fixing this, she won't forgive him, even if it saves them all. Meanwhile, Jerry accidentally manages to stabilize his paradox by doing absolutely nothing, proving once again that sometimes incompetence is the key to survival. Act 3 ends with Morty convincing Rick not to give up, saying he'd rather live in chaos with Rick than a perfect world without him. The bond between them is reaffirmed, and Rick agrees to try one last insane gambit. Rick builds a makeshift weapon using fragments of the Chrono engine and confronts Mortys in a final showdown. The battle is visually wild. Reality shatters into pieces around them, every move creating ripples across infinite timelines. Morty, finally taking initiative, jumps into the paradox streams to redirect collapsing futures, saving both himself and Rick. At the climax, Rick manages to overclock the Chrono engine, causing a universal reboot. Mortys dissolves, warning that time remembers everything.